Hello, hello. And with our guest today, Keith Leon S. Keith, welcome.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
Keith is a multiple award-winning international best-selling author. He owns a successful publishing company, and he's a speaker and trainer who's well known as the book guy. I love that. His life purpose book called Walking with My Angels, A True Story with a Forward by Chicken Soup for the Soul's Jack Canfield was released in August of 2019. And he's currently releasing another book. Is it already out, Keith?
November 4th.
November, his new book, Navigating the Clickety-Clack, How to Live a Peace-Filled Life in a Seemingly Toxic World. That sounds intriguing too.
Need that right now.
Yes, we do. Keith has appeared on many popular radio and television broadcasts, including The Jenny McCarthy Show, and his work has been covered by Inc. magazine, LA Weekly, The Huffington Post, Published magazine, and Succeed magazine, just to name a few. He's also a member of the Evolutionary Business Council. Keith's passion is teaching people how to go from first thought to bestseller and to create what he calls the world's greatest business card. I'm so excited to talk to you, Keith. Welcome to Enlightened World Network.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see that beautiful snow out there behind you.
Well, yeah, you escaped that.
I did. I did.
I went too. I went the opposite. You went from not snow to, or from snow to hot. I went from hot to snow. What were you thinking?
Perfect.
What was I thinking? Well, I thought the angels were going to protect me from this cold weather.
They protect you all the way to the cold weather.
Yeah, they did. They kept me safe all the way.
Yeah.
Keith, I'm just loving learning about your journey, and I want our listeners to learn about you, and especially this wonderful book. I'm so immersed in it right now. And as I said to you earlier before the show, I feel like I'm reading my own story. There are so many similarities about how the angels are working with us. And I know we're not the only ones that this happens to. Let's talk about the angels and how they do work with us.
Well, I believe we can say that there so many of us feel that because every one of us has at least one guardian angel. And so if you are an empath and you do feel energy, then most likely you've at least felt like you've been protected if you haven't seen proof of it. And that's why I love teaching people this process called sit, ask, and listen. So there's a lot of us sitting and a lot of us asking, right? So meditation, prayer, asking questions. But when do we really listen until we receive the answer to the question we asked? And so when people get into that work play, as I call it, of sit, ask, and listen, now your focus is seeing all the ways that your angels are showing up for you. And when you put that focus on getting the answer to the question that you've asked, and you keep your focus on seeing, now you start to see not only when the angels are showing up for you, but potentially how they've been showing up for you all along. And you missed it. And now you're like, oh, when that happened, that had to be angels. When that happened, that had to be angels. Oh, okay, I'm on board now. So it's fun. I love teaching people like how to connect with angels. And so for those of you watching right now or even later, maybe you don't call it angels. Maybe you call it inner guidance system. You call it God, spirit, universe, inner knowing. There's so many different words for it. I like to say it doesn't care what you call it, as long as you call it. Right? As long as you call it. And so that means that they are absolutely available to support us. And we just need to ask because we have free will. So they can't really help us until we ask. In ways that would be blatant, right? So feel free to ask for the support and then look for it, and you'll see.
Yeah, Keith, I've heard you say that everyone has a guardian angel, and this is something that I teach as well, and really fully believe that that's the truth.
Yeah.
Have you encountered people who question that?
Sure, I've encountered people that question everything, and and I know that I too, I too had points in my life where I questioned it, but I just seen so much evidence to the contrary, and so I just believe that we in predestination. So there is a date that we agreed to and are to be here until that day, and so guardian angels, their job is to make sure that we get to that date. And this isn't like the old days where like getting run over by a covered wagon or getting in a shootout at the OK Corral was, pretty much your ways of going, right? Of dying before you're supposed to. But now in this world that we live in, we have planes, trains, automobiles, gang fights, bullets flying everywhere. There's so many ways that we could expire before our time that they're on high watch, right? And so guardian angel is not just a clever word. They literally are just having to pay attention all the time and right by our side to make sure that we get to that date. And as I shared, guardian angels have two jobs. They love you unconditionally. They're like your mom. There's nothing you could do to make them love you any less. And the other is to get you to that predetermined expiration date. But again, like I said earlier, because we have free will, that's all they can do unless we ask. But once you say, "Oh, guardian angel, first of all, thank you for getting me to this day," right, and getting me to the day I'm supposed to be here until. So thanks for all that. But then also, I want you to know that I'm open to seeing you. I'm open to hearing you, and show up in ways that I will know that it's you. Show up in ways that I will know that it's you. Let's just play and have some fun. And when you make that invitation, now they're like, thank God. They're like, yay. I've just been loving you all the time and keeping you alive, but I'm bored, because that's all I've been doing. So now how can I show up in a way that you'll see me, in a way that you'll hear me? And they just have as much fun with it as you would.
So Keith, you gave a beautiful TED talk, and you spoke about when you were working at a bar, one of the customers coming in actually was an angel here in the physical realm. Not everybody gets to see the angel as clearly as you did. Do you believe that angels come in ways that are unseen as well as so obvious as yours did?
Yeah, I mean, they have the ability to manipulate things. So there's those times when we're driving home and let's say you take a way that's the same way every day, and then they just decided, oh, I think I'm going to go this way instead. And well, what you don't know is probably the way that you were going to go home that day, there may have been like an accident or something that taken you out, right? Or you would have got hurt. And but they just kind of edged to take a different way that day. And so some people might not even notice that, because maybe they didn't hear about that accident that happened over there. But I believe that they're constantly kind of nudging us and whispering and manipulating things in certain ways, to take care of us. They're showing us their love, and they take care of us in so many ways. And I believe angels come to us through the words of our friends sometimes. We can be sharing with a friend and just spilling our heart. And I remember friends saying, I don't know why I'm supposed to tell you this, but, and then they would say something. And they're not an angel person. They just felt this nudge to say something that they wouldn't normally say. And a few times they even went, I don't even know where that came from. You know, evidence of angels, all of these things. When I was driving down a highway in the diamond lane, it's just the fast lane, all the way over to the left with my sister one time. We were going really, really fast, and when you're in that lane, there is a wall, and then there's like just the space of a car with maybe an inch on each side space to my left. And so we're driving really, really fast, and then all of a sudden everything just stopped, brakes in front of me, and I just whipped into the other lane with an inch on each side, whipped back in on the other side of the other cars that were stopped, just like whoop, whoop, like that. And my sister was with me, and she was like, are you kidding me? She's like, are you kidding me? Like, do you know how to drive like that? And I was like, no, not like that. That was like race car, pro level type driving. And didn't, no, not a scratch on the car, and we both lived. And that's when she started going, okay, maybe you're not so cuckoo after all. Right? And she had seen
There's something
evidence.
to these angels.
Yeah. So, and I've had people that I start off my book saying, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. That's all right. I'm just going to share everything with you, and you can make your own decision when you get to the end of the book. But by all means, read the book. And so the reason I say that is because, yes, I have had people my whole life, especially early on, when I would share these stories, and they'd just be like, come on, come on, Keith, get the net, try some medication or a padded room or something. Uh, and I really didn't tell people way back when I met that angel that you were talking about, when that happened, that was the 80s. You didn't say these things out loud because they would find you a padded room. And he did tell me at the very beginning, do not share this with anyone. You'll know when it's time to share. And at one point I got the prompt, and so many things had changed in the world, and people were really opening. And by the time I was told that it was time to start sharing the stories, people would just, I would say, the most outrageous story, and people would just go, that's so cool, instead of okay, you know, and, and that's when I knew, okay, I think it's time for me to start, working towards asking, when is this book supposed to come out, and doing that work when the world shifted and caught up, right? And started believing it, at least in the possibility that these angels were with us and around us and here for us.
Yeah. Keith, I love that in your book, Walking with My Angels, you tell the story about how you knew that there were a certain amount of times that your life had been saved by your guardian
Yeah,
angels. And then your mom
yeah,
shared a story that you weren't even aware of what had happened, but your life
yeah,
was spared. And
yeah,
it was it was your guardian angel that talked to
yeah,
your mom. Can you share that with us? I
yeah,
love the story. I mean, if you're
yeah.
comfortable sharing that.
And it's interesting because when I wrote the book, I said 7 had died, but my life has been spared. Well, it's actually 8 now. So I had one happen after the book came out that was really mind blowing, to even be here after that one. But so yeah, my mother's in hospice, and she was nearing the end of her time here on Earth, and I was we were talking about angels, and I was talking about, I sure hope that I get the prompting that this book is going to come out, because I'm supposed to make a difference in the world with it, and it hasn't happened yet. And so I told her that I should have died 7 times, and then I kind of stopped and I said, what's so weird? And she said, what? And I go, every time that's come out of my mouth, I've said 7 times, but whenever I count them on my fingers, there's only 6. And I wonder why that is. And then she just started like tearing up, and I was like, what? And she said, all right, I have to tell you. And so she told me that when I was a child, she was very disturbed, and she was manic depressive, and incredibly depressive. Not manic very often. We loved that, actually. When she was manic, we were like, yes, because there was so much depression. So she told me of a time when she was so depressed that she decided she was going to take her life, and then she was going to take ours as well, because she didn't want to leave us alone. And so she closed everything up and turned on the gas and opened up the oven as my sister and I were playing in the next room. And so the gas is filling, starting to fill the room. And then she just heard a voice, can't do that, turn it off. And looking around, and there's nobody there. And she hears it again, you can't do that, turn it off, And so she's like, and so she freaked out, turned it off, closed the lid, and never spoke to anybody about that. Or closed the door. But in sharing it with me, she said, I'm so clear now after the stories that you've told me that was your angel, that was your guardian angel that was speaking to me, and told me that I couldn't do that, and was pretty clear about it in a way that made her go, all right, I'll do it, and just shut it off. So it was good to, in where it was great to know what the 7th time was, it was also sad to know. It was hard to be around her when she was that depressed, but to know that she got to that point and literally almost took our lives as well was interesting information to have. Right before.
What an interesting way to realize that sometimes we don't even know how our guardian angels are looking out for us
Yeah,
and doing that intervention when we're not even aware of it.
yeah, it's true.
So, Keith, your angel came to your place of employment. Have you thought about why you? Why did the angel come to you instead of somebody who was the next door down?
Yeah. Well, all the times that my life was spared, a lot of those happened to me as a child. And so I spent a lot of years thinking, why me? Why me? Just about me even being on the earth, right? And then by the time this gentleman came to me and befriended me at work, like you said, he came to my work and just got to know me, and we kind of became friends. And then finally I invited him home, and then he got to know me more, and then he started to do things to kind of prove to me that he had something, ESP, whatever it was. And then eventually, and you'll read about this in the book, he told me that he was an earthbound angel and he was here to save me. So he did tell me why. um, he did say uh, that had I heard the phrase earthbound angels, and I said, yeah. And he said, well, normally they call people that do good deeds earthbound angels, right? People that just do good things for you. He said, but that's not who we are. And I was like, who we are? And he said, yeah, okay, how can I explain this? I was in the etheric realm. I was light. I was energy. And then I dropped into a body. They call it a walk-in, for those of you who know that. So a body that that soul was expired and moved on, but he jumped into the body, and then the body continues. So he jumped into a body, and then he and a group of other people that are walking the earth right now, angels in the flesh, are assigned to certain people. And he said that for me, he was to take me from believing in nothing to believing in everything, because I was here to make a difference on the planet. And that if I died before my predetermined expiration date, and I said, predetermined what now? And he said, predetermined expiration date. And that's where I got the predestination straight from the angel's mouth, that there was a date that I was supposed to be here until, and if I didn't make it to that date, and these were his words, it would have a not so great effect on the planet. A not so great effect on the planet. That I was here to make a difference in the lives of millions of people, and that during our time together, he would be spending time with me, take me from believing in nothing to believing in everything. And that during that time, uh, he would not only do that, get me to believe, but at some point he would uh, reveal my life purpose to me, so I would know why I was here and what I'm here to do. And then at some point he would save my life. And that once he had done that, that I needed to let him go, because then he would be assigned to someone else and he would need to leave and go do the work with them. And so he spent well over a year, probably about a year and a half, how time is when you're in your early 20s and you're with an angel. It was somewhere in that window. And then he did everything that he said he would do, and he did end up saving my life. And then I had to let him go, and that was truly one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, because he was the father that I didn't have. He was the brother that I didn't have. He was my angel. He was my friend. He was like all of that and more. And then all of a sudden he wasn't there. So that was a tough thing to do, to let him go. He's still with me all the time. That's the point I got a few months later. He's still with me. I just call his name and he's with me. But in the flesh, it felt weird to not have that. And just like when somebody passes and leaves this earthly realm, we know that energy moves on and light moves on, and we either merge back into the one energy that is everything, or really it happens as we believe. That's what he taught me. So whatever that is for you, right? Either we go to be with our family in heaven because that's what we believe, or we merge back into the one. But when he left, it was just the same as when somebody passes. Now the body wasn't there, right? And I had the essence, and I have the voice, and I have in my head, and I have all of that if I ask, but to be able to hug him, it wasn't there anymore. So it was like was like a death of sorts, the same way in mourning and processing that we would if we lost a loved one. That's what it was like for me.
Keith, I'd love to hear more about what you're doing. I know that you're an author and you have one book out and another coming out really soon. But what else do you do? I heard you mention that you teach about angels. How has this happened? Do you do like classes or retreats or what? Tell us what you
Yeah,
do.
yeah. The book came out in August, and I set up a full-blown media live event book signing tour, and I went out on the road. So in New York and California and Florida, and I was just everywhere. And then we went back to Vermont to just relax for a few, and then this COVID-19 situation happened, and everything came to a halt because you couldn't have more than 10 people in a room together. So just recently, things have opened up in Florida. And so we immediately jumped in our RV and came to Florida. And now I'm here, even now, reaching out to all the places that I did. I did a full month in January. I did, it was events in 23 days or 26 days. So I'm reaching out to all those people and setting up events to do events here in Florida. So I'll be doing that in Florida. But what I created for anybody that reads the book and they want more support, if you go to beyondbeliefbooks.com, beyondbeliefbooks.com, I've created all the elements that can support you in contacting your angels if you're not able to be with me live at a live event. So I have a home study course there where you would get a lot of what I teach at the live events. I have angel cards I was telling you about before we went on
Yes.
the air. I used to have Doreen Virtue cards, and they just worked, and I was like, ooh, maybe someday I'll have cards, and I do, and it's exciting. And then I have music over there, music CD based on the book and angel work, and I've got the book. So there's so many ways that you can work with me to discover your angels. But right now it looks like we're going to be in Florida because that's the state that's open, and you don't have to be masked up wherever you go. And so that's what I'm doing for now. And then the new book, Navigating the Clickety Clack, on November 4th, we're launching the book, and we're doing a live event. And at the live event, Bob Proctor is going to join us. Christy Whitman, New York Times bestselling author, and also 17 authors that I got to be in this book with me. It's, if you want to attend that event, there's no charge, and you can come. It's a tiny URL. Have you heard about them? tinyurl.com/NTCC live. So the letters stand for Navigating the Clickety Clack, NTCC live. And you can go, there's no cost for that, and you can go sign up November 4th. We're going to be having fun and what
Where?
that
Where?
on Zoom.
Oh, on
So it's,
Zoom. Okay.
yeah, so it's a live event, and that is near my heart, because navigating the clickety clack is about a time like right now where the world is going crazy around you. And are you one of those people who, no matter what's happening in the world around you, that you're able to stay peaceful? Are you the one that's able to stay peaceful? Can you go to Thanksgiving dinner with your family and stay peaceful the whole time, right? If you are one of those people, what are the tools that you do so that you're able to stay that way? That's what we're teaching in the book. All the authors, and the clickety clack is, things are going crazy, right? So I got the title from my friend Fletch Rainey, who's now passed, and so this a chance to continue his work and honor his work by sharing it with the world. My wife and I, when we first started our business, we'd call him kind of freaking out, business stuff, entrepreneur stuff. We'd be freaking out, and he'd say, "Oh, just relax. You're in the clickety clack." And we're like, "What does that mean?" He said, "Remember when you had a 10-speed bicycle, and whenever you shift gears and it hasn't quite caught into gear, what noise does it make?" And we're like, "Clickety, clickety, clickety, clack." Yeah, yeah. And he goes, "Right, but you have faith that it will catch into the next gear, so you keep pedaling, and then eventually it does kick into the next gear. And when it does, you're into a whole new gear, a better gear. And we're like, yeah. And he said, so relax, you're just in the clickety clack. So that's the title. That's what it means, navigating the clickety clack, that space in between when you're just in the I don't know, or the I could use support. And then the subtitle, How to Live a Peace-Filled Life in a Seemingly Toxic World. It's just not really toxic, but it seems that way because of what we make up, right? When things happen, it's just the thing happened, but everything other than that is what we make up and what we make it mean, right? We're meaning making machines. And so I reached out to people that I know were living that quality, being able to stay peaceful no matter what was happening in the world. And then I just kind of asked them all questions. And one of the questions, the most important, being what would they suggest for you of ways to be able to come to that place of peace inside of you. So I got Bob Proctor and Jack Canfield and like I said, Christy Whitman and these other incredible authors to come share all of their knowledge. And so we'll be doing that on the call and in the book. And so I'm excited about that because I just think it's so important right now for us to be able to navigate through this clickety clack that's going on everywhere right now around us.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to that book.
Yeah.
Would love to join in that Zoom meeting. So you mentioned that you have cards. Are these cards that go along with your book?
Yeah. Called
Tell us about them.
Walking with Your Angels.
Your angels.
Daily Inspiration Deck. So if you haven't ever had these cards, for those of you who maybe haven't had a set, they're like a blank slate when you get them, right? They don't have energy in it yet, but when you crack it and you start shuffling them, right, and you start holding them, now you're starting to infuse your energy into the cards. And then the angels who want to, as I shared with you, always want to connect with us, right? They're waiting for us to ask. This is kind of an evocation. This is a way to ask the angels for support. And so what I did was I identified 11 archangels. Archangels are a little higher up the food chain, right? That's the way I would say. They have one or two certain things that they're really, really good at, and they're well known for being great at those things. So I wrote down 11 archangel names, and then I asked them each to give me 4 messages of what they want you to know. And so I channeled these messages through, and I mean, as I was typing, I'm seeing what's being typed, and I'm like, wow, whoa, that's good, right? It's not me, it's just coming through, and I'm grabbing it. So 11 archangels, 4 messages each, which means now we have 44 cards with 44 messages. And because everything is energy, and now you've shuffled it, has your energy into it. Now, when you fan it out or however you want, and you choose a card, that's the card that you're supposed to receive. And when you read it, you'll go, oh, because it'll be exactly what you needed to know, or on that day, or maybe you had just been thinking of. So I just pulled one for everybody who is on the call right now as we did that. So this one is Archangel Azrael. Interesting, because we were just talking about Azrael before we went on. And yeah, and Azrael says, soul growth comes in many forms. Call my name for assistance in working through life lessons, through healing the pain of self-judgment, anger, guilt, and regret. I will help you find the light when things seem dark. I will stand by your side while you develop your spiritual practice and give you visions of all the good that's available to you. There are going to be some people who are watching this right now who are like, oh, that was for me. Like, I pulled that specifically for you, right? And if you didn't feel that, then just hear the message, and most likely today, tomorrow, there's going to be something that happens that you're going to go, oh, okay, Azrael, right? And you can ask Azrael for support. The back of the cards are gorgeous. My mom always called me Sunshine, and then these angel wings. So I actually reached out to this artist. I saw some of her work and asked her if she would do these angel paintings for me, and then we put those on the cards. And she was not an angel person. She hadn't even heard of these angels, so I asked her not to look up their name or anything about them, and then asked her to just say the name of the angel and then say, how do you want me to paint you? Right? And so she did that, and it's incredible what the things she came up with. So this is Anael.
That's right.
Anael.
Aniel.
Anael. She's gorgeous. Archangel Uriel.
Wow.
Right? Mother Earth. Jeremiel. Beautiful. Here's an interesting one. Archangel Raphael. I don't know if you're to this part in my book yet, but I had an out-of-body experience that was part of my purpose being revealed to me. And I spoke of an old Indian man that was at the event, right, with wisdom in his eyes, and I didn't tell her that, and she hadn't read the book, and so she painted. So when I saw the painting, I was like, oh, that was Raphael. It was there. Okay. So she just did things she didn't even know she was doing. It's
He
amazing.
wasn't doing it. The angels
Yeah,
were.
exactly. Here's an interesting learning lesson. This is Archangel Gabriel, or Gabriel, as I know Gabriel. Gabriel is in the Bible a lot, and is a male in the Bible. But angels don't have sex. They're neither male or female. Angels will show up to you the way that you will be able to receive it. And so for me, raised by women, hardly any men, just all women all the time in my life, right? When I reached out to Gabriel, it was like, it's Gabrielle. And it's a woman, and I saw her, and I saw her like this, which was like when the painting came to me. Archangel Michael, love that one.
Yes.
So like American Indian. Again, Metatron. Metatron, and I have the funniest Metatron story. I love to tell at my events. So funny. Archangel Ariel and Hanael. I just wanted you to see some of these paintings. It's just unbelievable. Jophiel, which is about joy, right? Joy. And she paints her like the most joyful looking angel. So I'm just blown away by these cards, and through clear, and so many people have written back to me and just said, oh, these things work. So I just thought I'd share that with you, because the artist, she is amazing. Melissa Rose Original Art. She's on Instagram. Melissa Rose Original Art.
Wonderful. Well, I just want you to know, one of our listeners, talking about the card that you drew for all of us, says, very nice card. I really needed that.
Oh, there we go.
So,
perfect.
So it has touched somebody already. In addition to myself, I needed that card too. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So those, what I was talking about, beyondbeliefbooks.com, that's where you can find the cards if you wanted to get some.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And where can we find your book, Walking with the Angels?
Amazon, Amazon.com. And I really created it in speaking of, will be presented in the way that you'll be able to receive it. I took that to heart. So it's Kindle book, ebook, and audiobook, and with my voice reading it. I thought about getting a voiceover artist, and I was like, they would never be able to do it. So I did all of that in like the shortest amount of time. I was in Europe when I was doing the audio for the book on this European leg of my tour. So I'd go to an event at night and then come and stay up all night reading the book, that audio book. Because all my millennial friends and my older folks were constantly saying, "Is it going to be an audiobook? Is it going to be an audiobook?" So I said, "I hear you. Yes, it is."
Wonderful.
Yeah. So Amazon.com.
Okay, so you have the book, you have the cards, and you mentioned the music CD to go along with the book.
Yeah. I have the most incredible writing and music partner. His name's Eric Peterson. And I went to his house and said, we got to do Angel CD, and I have like 2 days. He's like, okay, all right, we're gonna need angel help. So we prayed, we evoked angels, and we recorded all the content for the CD in 2 days. And any musicians who've ever been to the studio know that should be impossible, should absolutely be impossible to be able to do that in 2 days. But it was like first take after first take after first take was perfect, and we just kept it, and we didn't have to do many second takes. So it's very, very organic, and there's not overthinking in the CD, and you'll feel it. And so the angels come through the music, and that's the thing about the book. One of the first things I mentioned, and I'm sure you read this, was that I was told that anybody who holds the book in their hands will to their next level of vibration. That's what they told me, why I would even be doing the book, right? And so didn't say read the book, it said hold it in their hands. Would be raised to their next level of vibration. So that's how I reached the amount of people that they told me I would reach, because I was like, not that many people are reading anymore. But if you buy the book and you put it on your table, and then somebody goes, hey, what's this book, and pick it up for a second, flip through it and put it down, they just received everything that they were supposed to receive from the book, which is amazing, and reminds me of a gentleman who used to sleep on top of a book and then wake up knowing everything that was in the book. Heard of that guy? I can't remember his name right now, but it kind of reminds me of that. So the music is like that too. There's energy to each song that comes through it, and so people are listening to this music and having healing, like forgiving and self worth issues being healed, and just all these miracles happening just from the music, which is so amazing. And so I'm blessed to be a part of this incredible work, and helping people to have transformation without even being in the room. It's amazing.
Well, I think you're pretty amazing, Keith. I really appreciate you
you.
being here. Did you have anything else for Keith?
Well, I was thinking you have had 8 near death, or could have been death options, I guess. How thankful I am at this moment that your angels came in and kept that from happening, because I'm really enjoying getting the opportunity to sit here and have this conversation with you. So thank you for being here. I mean that very literally.
Thank you, and how grateful I am every day to have been saved so many times, and to be able to do this work, to be able to see transformation happen right in front of my eyes, over and over and over again at these live events, and just by connecting with people. Sometimes we were talking about a teenager that I got to connect with before we came on this call. The three of us were talking about a teenager who I got to know, and she shared with me before we left that she had her whole life experienced anxiety and depression, and that from the moment that she met me and my wife, she hadn't had anxiety at all for months, and she never knew what it felt like to not have anxiety and depression. She only knew when she didn't have it, like that something was different, and that was just by meeting us. It's just amazing that everything is energy, and once you connect with your angels, right, and get that connection and get that proof, and know that this happens, and that anything is possible. Like my angel taught me that anything I can think of is. He didn't say can be, possibly could be. He said is.
Yes.
Is. That's so vast, right? And so anybody who's watching right now, I would just want to leave you with this. And anybody that's ever seen me speak anytime, any place, anywhere knows what's coming right now. And that is that you make a difference. That you make a difference in this world just by being you. And you're touching lives and potentially saving lives every day. And you just don't know, because people forget to tell us. Even people that we love, they just assume that we know that we're touching their lives. So they forget to tell you. But you may have said hello and smiled at somebody today, just in passing. And what you didn't know is that person was about to go to life because they felt that no one saw them. And then you saw them and said hello. And then they thought, well, well, they saw me. And if they saw me, maybe other people see me. Hey, wait, what if my family would miss me if I was gone? Maybe they talked themselves out of taking their own life that day because you smiled and said hello, and you wouldn't know because they wouldn't tell you. So for everyone who has forgot to tell you in the past, I want to tell you for them that you make a difference in this world. This world would not be the same without you. So thank you for being the gift of you.
How
It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Keith, how can people find you if they want to reach out and find out more about your books or your teachings, whatever you have to offer?
Yeah,
How do we reach?
go to Google, any browser, and type in Keith Leon S and hit enter. That's it. I'm not hiding. There's a million different ways you can see me and find me and reach me and watch videos. If you go to Leon Smith Publishing, that's our publishing arm. It tells you all about our company and how we help people to get their books out to the world. We've been doing that for years, and more specifically to the angel work and to my spiritual people, Beyond Belief Publishing. Beyond Belief. If you go to Beyond Belief Books, it's exclusively about the angel book and all of that. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you put Keith Leon S and hit enter, you'll find all kinds of things, music, videos, everything.
Wonderful. Keith, it's been an honor to have you on with us today.
Thank you.
Just really appreciate your time and your beautiful words and your message to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love my life.
I love my life. I say that every day.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you again, and may you have a blessed day. And to all that listened, I hope you enjoyed Keith as much as Ruth and I have.
Absolutely.
It's been a real blessing to be on here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Namaste.
Namaste.